All right, we have a 49ers update for you the day after their big win against the Giants, and it's a good one on multiple fronts. But the one that people have been asking about the most is Deebo Samuel. No fractured ribs, x-rays back negative. Deebo's sore today, but he's simply day to day. Other two injuries, Dre Greenlaw, Demetrius Flanagan-Foles, two linebackers, low ankle sprains, not high ankle sprains, also day to day, also seems relatively minor. So how about that? The 49ers leave their first Thursday night game of the season. They have two this year. They play the Seahawks on Thanksgiving night up in Seattle, but they leave their first short rest Thursday night game relatively healthy. I mean, for all intents and purposes, that's a clean injury sheet. I would expect Brandon Ayuk, who missed this game, to be back for week 4 against Arizona. And I do think that all three of these guys, Deebo Samuel, Dre Greenlaw, and Demetrius Flanagan-Foles, will also be back for week 4 against Arizona. So the 49ers healthy at this point of the season, and they leave a Thursday night game. This can be treacherous with the short rest. They leave this one healthy as well. Things are pointing up for the 49ers, and they were already pointing up last night after their 30-12 win over the New York Giants. Kyle Shanahan said that he was even more impressed with Brock Purdy's game after watching the tape and how he handled those blitzes from the New York Giants. 33 out of 39 snaps saw blitzes from the Giants. It's an 85% rate. It's one of the highest on record. And Purdy, well, doesn't even have a full season of experience under his belt, handled it really, really damn well. 20 of 31, 247 yards, a couple of touchdowns. What did I say this morning? I said to the people that were talking about Brock Purdy as if he were having a bad game during the game yesterday, they'd be backpedaling, that like Homer Simpson back into the bushes from those takes. And I said, the more film that you watch of Brock Purdy from this game, the more you're going to be like, damn, he was actually good. I was just knee-jerk reacting during the game. I said he was bad. The takes look really funny now. They look freezing cold from during the game. And Kyle Shanahan verified that same impression. He rewatched the tape. He thought Purdy was good during the game. He thought he was good right after the game yesterday. But after watching the tape, seeing how impressive Brock Purdy was with his anticipation in the face of pressure, Kyle Shanahan said, damn, yeah, this guy actually outplayed even what I thought. I mean, some of Purdy's numbers are historic. You have to realize he was 6 of 7 on those intermediate throws again yesterday, 10 to 19 yards. Last year, Purdy already delivered the best season on record in NFL history since PFF started tracking this in intermediate throw completion percentage at 80.4%. This year, he's at 91% on intermediate throws. So, I mean, what we're seeing here is Brock Purdy breaking his own record on the intermediate throws. 91%, I could give you the full numbers for those. 19 to 21, 324 yards. That's 15.4 yards per attempt, a 150.5 quarterback rating. That 91% would be the highest in recorded NFL history, beating Purdy's own record. It's elite. It is elite stuff. It's indisputably elite. People are saying that it's not a wrong. Sorry, you're wrong. Get used to being right if you actually follow the facts of this situation. So Kyle Shanahan verified it. He watched the tape today. He also gave a good injury report for the 49ers. So no fractured rib for Deebo Samuel, Flanagan-Foles, and Dre Greenlaw day-to-day with low ankle sprains. Shanahan also said that he, as we predicted, wasn't mad at Dre Greenlaw for the personal foul because I watched the tape. That hit came before the whistle. The officials blew the whistle after Dre Greenlaw laid the hit that earned them the flag. So it was more of a reputation penalty than anything else, but not a good call from the officials. Tashawn Gibson in the locker room told me that Shanahan not going to be mad at this. Greenlaw is nothing to worry about. Shanahan actually said the 49ers have done a good job avoiding the boneheaded penalties. Yeah, sure. They had a couple 15-yarders yesterday. I thought the worst play was the Shamar Jean-Charles fair catch interference. That put the Giants in business. They were at the 37-yard line, kept this game closer for a little longer. But other than that, the 49ers, I mean, yeah, they've had to clean up some holding penalties. They've had to clean up some procedural penalties. Who doesn't have to clean those up earlier in the season? 49ers doing a good job holding their horses, staying back, not committing dumb personal foul penalties. There wasn't one that was dumb on Dre Greenlaw. The officials called it, but when you watch the tape, the whistle comes after the hit. It seemed like it was a bad call, and Shanahan was not upset about it. So there's your 49ers update. Why don't we turn this into the 49ers Q&A for just a few minutes? You guys have any questions? Somebody said he's more about Lenore's penalties. I mean, well, Lenore was working. This wasn't really fair to Diamond Lenore. He's working against Darren Waller. Lenore's 5'10". Waller's 6'6". What did Lenore? 5'10", 190, 200, maybe 200. He's working against 6'6", 245 in Darren Waller. Thought it was sticky coverage. They got him with the PI. I mean, that's a mismatch, and you got to give Waller credit for – and the Giants credit for lining Waller out as an outside receiver. It's really hard to do. He's got enough athleticism to do it. I predicted that Waller was a walking mismatch. He was, but the 49ers were able to neutralize that by putting Isaiah Oliver on him. That's why Isaiah Oliver is on this team. They have adaptability on the back end, right? So, Lenore's playing well. I wouldn't worry too much about a pass interference penalty against the 6'6", 245-pound Darren Waller. Do I expect Mitchell's usage to increase? I think he's the second running back, and Christian McCaffrey's a stud. Why do we care that much? I mean, it's Elijah Mitchell played a few snaps yesterday, looked decent doing it, not nearly as good as Christian McCaffrey. 49ers are going to try to balance out that workload in a way that preserves McCaffrey as much as possible, keeps them fresh on the field. I don't answer questions about fantasy teams, so I hope that's not one about a fantasy team. Where did I get in and out last night? Mountain View, Rangsdorf, off of 101. I knew that people would start asking about this, and it's not a terrible question. If the 49ers beat the Cowboys and move to 5-0, what are the odds of going 17-0 for the playoffs? Odds probably wouldn't be great because it's the NFL, and the chance of a loss compounds over the 12 weeks that it would take, the 12 wins that it would take to go 17-0. But I guarantee you people will start talking about 17-0 if the 49ers beat the Cowboys to go 5-0. I just said how Greenlaw was doing. Greenlaw is doing okay. Low ankle sprain, day to day. So the 49ers hope that he heals before they play Arizona. No, the 49ers were not getting predictable with passes to the flat. The Giants were blitzing 85% of the time. This was historic. The 49ers scored 30 points. What are the complaints about? I don't get it. This is not Madden. You don't sit there with a video game controller on your Xbox and say, throw deep, throw deep, throw deep. It's an actual live pass rush. There's actual live blitzes coming there. The answer to actual live blitzes are short passes, especially when you have 200 yards after the catch. If your guys can rumble after the catch like that, get your playmakers the ball in space, beat the blitz, and then beat the secondary. Then win the game by 18 points, by 3 possessions. And we still have people asking about throws into the flat and screens as if they're something negative. Man. Last year at this time, we had no clue about Brock Purdy. Well, we had a clue. We knew that he had impressed the 49ers in training camp. I don't think that we thought that he would develop into a star so quickly. I mean, they wouldn't have picked him in the 7th round. Somebody would have picked them earlier if people would have known that. But that's the beauty of sports. That's the beauty of the NFL. Any chance Ayuk misses the Cardinals game to be as healthy as possible for the Cowboys game? Well, what if he's already 100% healthy for the Cardinals game? I don't know what the exact medical status is, but I think they're just going to play it by that type of feel. I guess there is a chance, but we don't know. Madden and fantasy sports have destroyed most people's understanding. Maybe not most people's, but there's this vocal minority. A lot of people's understanding of how football is played. It is played as a violent game. It is organized chaos. You try to organize that chaos. Sometimes you don't succeed. 49ers succeeded yesterday. They altered game plans. They were pushing it downfield, but that wasn't working because the blitzes were too exotic. They weren't ready to pick them up on a short week. with limited preparation. So they moved to the screen passes. They moved to the short passes. How many times in the past had people cried and complained, will Kyle Shanahan ever call a screen? Oh my God, call a screen. And then yesterday, in the perfect spot to call screens in a game where they worked, where Brock Purdy was money on the screen passes and there were 200 yards after the catch, people complained there were too many screens. At a certain point, again, you cannot take this seriously. Some of this criticism is just hot air. Most of this criticism is just hot air. The 49ers are 3-0. They've scored 30 points in 3 straight games. They look like one of the best teams, if not the best team in the National Football League. They're healthy coming out of a Thursday night game. They're playing excellent offense, excellent defense, and excellent special teams. They're going to go 4-0 against the Cardinals next week, and there's a showdown against Dallas on Sunday Night Football in October. There's literally is nothing to be upset about right now. Yeah, there's some stuff on the team that they can improve. Spencer Burford at right guard, probably the best example. Maybe they need a little bit more cornerback depth. They're obviously tinkering and experimenting with that. But gosh, see the forest. Don't stare at the bark on a tree. Luis can't wait for the game against Dallas. Billy Lee says for the 49ers fans, it's worth it to wait a week and a half for 4-0. John has a great point. If in NFL, if something works, you do it until it doesn't. That's what many casuals don't understand. Yeah, Deebo is okay. No broken ribs. He just sore today, day to day. Farrell versus Jackson opposite Bosa. How about both? Cleveland Farrell specializes in setting a hard edge against the run. Drake Jackson specializes in rushing the passer. You need both of those guys. You could play both of them too. Taylor Lewan would not be a nice pickup midseason if healthy. Have you seen Taylor Lewan lately? He's lost about 70 pounds, maybe even more. He's not playing anymore. He's in his post-playing career life, running his podcast. You can't just scream big name and think that they would improve the 49ers. Colton, by the way, you want to pick up Taylor Lewan. Guess who didn't allow a single pressure yesterday? Colton McKivitz. So it's not just big name, big name, big name. This guy's going to make the 49ers better. Actually pay attention to how these guys are playing and how they're developed. These are human beings too. So just a screaming big name that has lost 80 pounds, that's about as heavy as a light tight end right now, to replace the guy that's been working his ass off at right tackle, has gotten a lot better since week 1. It's just disrespectful. Now, a big name that would put the 49ers over the top would obviously be Brian Burns if we want to talk big names. But does Carolina even want to trade him? That's why it's so premature to talk about all this stuff. People probably calling for Richard Sherman back. It's funny. Kinlaw playing free, and his best football is DT3. Spot on. Spot on. McKivitz did play better. How could you can't run a bootleg when the other team is blitzing 85% of the time? Bootlegs are slow developing plays. You move the pocket against a team that's rushing 4, but if they're rushing 5, 6, even 7, you can't run a bootleg. Your quarterback is going to get swallowed up. There was nothing wrong with the offensive game plan yesterday, especially after they adjusted and Purdy's execution of it. This was a solid game for the 49ers. There shouldn't be hand-wringing for something else after they scored 30 again. Kittle had a black eye, and I asked him where he got it, and he's like, I have no clue. So Kittle was just playing a physical game. At some point, he got a black eye. He was probably blacked out in his game mentality. I mean, that guy just loses himself while he's playing. That's why he's able to go into a different mode. Yes, thank you. You can't run play action or bootleg against a heavy blitz. Remember the Giants when they tried to run play action and not block Nick Bosa and it almost turned into a safety? Would you want the 49ers and Brock Purdy to end up like that? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't get it. What's up with all the criticism when Purdy was damn good? It's because Twitter doesn't know football. Thankfully, the viewers here know it a little bit better. All right, there's your 49ers update. Time for me to go get some lunch. No fractured ribs for Deebo Samuel. He's day-to-day. Good news. Dre Greenlaw, Demetrius Flanagan, Foles, both the low ankle sprains, day-to-day as well. Health looking good for the 49ers leaving a Thursday night game, and that's the biggest win of all. Short rest, you're ripe for injuries there. 49ers leave with a relatively clean sheet. A bunch of day-to-day injuries, nothing serious or longer than that. So they should be at or near 100% next time they take the field against the Cardinals. They're going to enjoy a longer weekend now. Players don't even have to come into the facility until Monday. So well-earned rest for the 49ers, and Shanahan's watching tape, even more impressed with Brock Purdy than he was prior to watching the game tape. Told you that would happen, and it did. I watched it this morning, and it was damn impressive. More on Purdy coming soon. Also, lunch with Lombardi coming soon. I'm going to go get a good sandwich. You can let me know where you want me to go. I'll probably still go to the place I have in mind. But if you have any recommendations, speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, take care.